Hello everyone. The topic that we are going to discuss today is Human Eye and the Colourful World, Class 10 Science, Physics, CBSE. Now let's go to the next slide. So in this chapter, we'll see the structure of human eye. We will understand the importance of vision in our daily lives, and I will introduce the concept of the colourful world. Now let's go to the next slide. Now let's see what is the eye anatomy, structure of the eye. So the human eye has the following main parts. Cornea, it is the transparent bulged out spherical membrane covering the front of the eye. Light enters the eye through this membrane. Most of the refraction of light rays entering the eye occurs at outer surface of the cornea. Next is crystalline. The eye lens is convex lens made up of a transparent, soft and flexible jelly-like material made up of proteins. The eye lens is held in position by suspensory ligaments. Next is iris. It is a dark muscular diaphragm between the cornea and the lens. It controls the size of the pupil. It is the color of the iris that we call as the color of the eye. Next is pupil. It is a small hole between the iris through which light enters the eye. In dim light, it opens up completely due to expansion of eye muscles, but in bright, it becomes very small due to contraction of eye muscles. Next is ciliary muscles. They hold the eye lens in position and help in modifying the curvature of the lens. Next is retina. It is the light sensitive surface of the eye on which the image is formed. It contains light sensitive cells known as rods and cones. Rod cells respond to the intensity of light and cone cells respond to the illumination, thus primary colors. Number of rod cells is greater than number of cone cells. These cells generate signals which are transmitted to the brain through optic nerves. Please take a look at the eye autonomy figure. Now let's go to the next slide. So now let's see how the formation of image on retina takes place. An image is formed on a retina by successive refractions at the cornea. The aqueous humor, lens and virtuous humor, it is real, diminished and inverted in nature. The light sensitive cells of retina get activated upon illumination and generate electrical signals. These signals are then sent to the brain via the optic nerve. The brain interprets these signals and finally process the information so that we receive objects as they are. Now let's see. Now let's go to the next slide. Now let's see what is cornea. As I have told you, it is the transparent bulged out spherical membrane covering the front of the eye. Light enters the eye through this membrane. Most of the refraction of light rays entering the eye occurs at the outer surface of the cornea. Now let's go to the next slide. We have seen about role of iris. I would like you all to see this slide. Now let's go to the next slide. So this slide is about the role of the lens. Please take a look at this slide. Now let's go to the next slide. Now let's see what are the defects of human eye. Before I discuss about the defects of human eye, there are some terms related to human eye. Accommodation. It is the ability or the property of the eye lens to focus both near and distant objects by adjusting its focal length. However, the focal length cannot be decreased or increased beyond a certain limit, due to which a healthy person can't view clearly if the object is held too close, thus less than 25 centimeter or too far from the eye. Now let's see what is power of accommodation. It is the maximum variation in the power of eye lens for focusing nearby or far objects clearly at retina. For a young adult with normal vision, the power of accommodation is about 4D. The eye loses its power of accommodation at old age. Far point of the eye, it is the farthest point up to which the eye can see clearly. It is infinity for normal eye. Now let's see what is near point of the eye. The minimum distance at which an object can be seen most distinctly without any strain is called the least distance of distinct vision. For a normal eye of an adult, it is 25 centimeter. It is also called near point of the eye. Now let's see What is persistence of vision? The time for which impression or sensation of an object continues to remain in the eye is called persistence of vision. It is about 1/16th of a second, which means the minimum time for which we could view an object so that its clear image is formed on retina is 1/16th of a second. We have note, when the eye is looking at nearby object, eye length becomes more convex, thus focal length decreases. Now let's discuss about the defects of human eye. First is myopia, or also known as short-sightedness. In this defect, a person can see nearby objects but cannot see distant objects clearly. In this case, image is formed before retina and not on the retina. Causes of this myopia is a person with this defect has a far point nearer than infinity. This defect arises due to decrease in focal length of the eyelids because of excessive curvature of eyelids and elongation of the eyeball. As a result, the image is formed before the retina. Myopia can be cured by using concave lens. A concave lens of suitable power will bring back the image on the retina. There are two other defects of vision, that are hypermetropia and presbyopia. We'll discuss about these two in the upcoming slides. As you have seen what is myopia, please take a look at this line that is telling us about the myopia, or known as nearsightedness. Now let's go to the next line. So some other factors of myopia are genetics, environmental factors, and onset. So I would like you all to take a look at this slide to understand these three causes of myopia in more depth. Now let's go to the next slide. So these are the ray diagrams of the far point, myopic eye, and its correction. So first ray diagram is telling us about the far point of a myopic eye. Second, it's telling about the myopic eye. Third, it's telling the correction for the myopic eye. Now let's go to the next slide. So let's see what is hypermetropia. In this defect, a person can see distant objects clearly but cannot see nearby objects clearly. A person with this defect has the near point farther away from normal near point 25 centimeter. In this case, the image is formed beyond retina. Causes for this hypermetropia is focal length of the eyelids becomes large. Eyeball becomes too short so that the image is formed behind the retina. Hypermetropia can be corrected by using a convex lens of suitable power. This will bring back the image on the retina. Now let's go to the next slide. So these are the ray diagrams that are related to hypermetropia. First ray diagram is telling us about the near point of a hypermetropic eye. Second, it's showing us the hypermetropic eye. Third, it's showing what happens after the correction of hypermetropic eye. Now let's go to the next slide. Now let's see what is presbyopia. It is found in old people. For most of the people, the near point gradually recedes away with age. Sometimes a person may suffer from both myopia and hypermetropia. Causes for this are weakness of ciliary muscles, hardening or loss of elasticity of the eyelids. Presbyopia can be corrected by using bifocal or varifocal lenses, which consist of both convex and concave lenses. The upper portion consists of a concave lens for myopia and lower portion consists of a convex lens for hypermetropia. Cataract. It is a condition in which crystalline lens of eye becomes milky and cloudy due to growth of membrane over it. It generally occurs among people at old age. This causes partial or complete loss of vision. It is possible to restore vision through a cataract surgery. These days, it is possible to correct the eye defects with contact lenses or through surgical interventions. Contact lenses are small lenses placed in contact with the eye, which is replacement for the traditional spectacles. Now let's go to the next slide. Now let's see about the refraction of light through a prism. Prism is a transparent refracting medium bounded by at least two lateral surfaces inclined to each other at a certain angle. It has two triangular bases and three triangular lateral surfaces. The angle between two lateral surfaces is called angle of prism. In the diagram given above, a bright ray of light is entering from air to glass at the first surface AB. The light ray on the refraction is bent towards the normal. At the second surface, the light ray enters from glass to air, so it bends away from the normal. The above diagram shows refraction through a prism where they are incident ray, emergent ray, angle of incidence, angle of emergence, refracted ray, angle of prism, angle of reflection, and angle of deviation. Now let's go to the next slide. At last, we will see about some facts about human eye. Now let's go to the next slide. So before I would like to end this session, I would like to tell about more phenomenons that's actually related to atmospheric refraction. First, let's understand what is atmospheric refraction. The Earth's atmosphere is not uniform throughout. Its density goes on changing as we move up or down. It can be considered to be consisting of layers of different densities which act as rarer or denser medium with respect to each other. Due to this, when the light ray pass through the Earth's atmospheres, they undergo refraction. The refraction of light caused by these layers is called atmospheric refraction. Some phenomena based on atmospheric refraction or twinkling of lights. The star seems higher than they actually are. Planets do not twinkle. Advanced sunrise and advanced sunset. And now let's see what is scattering of light. The reflection of light from an object in all directions is called scattering of light. The color of scattered light depends on the size of scattering particles and wavelength of light. Very fine particles scatter mainly blue light, while particles of larger scatter light of longer wavelength, that is red light. For this reason, red light is used as traffic lights. It is the size of scattering particles is large enough, then the scattered light may even appear white. So we'll now discuss some phenomenon based on scattering of light. First is Tyndall effect. A beam of light passing through a true solution is not scattered. The scattering of light occurs when it passes through a colloidal solution is called Tyndall effect. The Earth's atmosphere is a heterogeneous mixture of minute particles of smoke, tiny water droplets, suspended particles of dust, and molecules of air which becomes visible due to scattering of light. Do you know why the color of the sky is blue? During the daytime, sky appears blue. This is because the size of the particles in the atmosphere is smaller than the wavelength of visible light. So they scatter the light of shorter wavelengths. The scattered blue light enters our eye. It should be noted that the sky appears black to the passengers flying at higher altitudes because scattering of light is not prominent at such height due to absence of particles. That's all for today. Thank you.